Kirby Smart is the best head coach in all of college football, but what about the coordinators? What about the position coaches? I decided that I'm going to assemble an all-star staff out of all the best college football coaches only on college football playoff teams. Starting with the offense, it was a really tough selection, but ultimately I decided to go with Oregon's offensive coordinator Will Stein, who is now Kentucky's head football coach. I took Indiana's Chandler Whitmer because of what he's been able to do throughout his career, including this year with Fernando Mendoza making him the Heisman quarterback. I think that running back for me was the hardest selection because a lot of these running back coaches aren't really highly regarded, and a lot of them aren't really running backs or running back coaches by trade. I decided to go with Trooper Taylor just because he's done such a good job making that A&M backroom so deep. Ohio State wide receiver coach Brian Hartline was a no-brainer for wide receivers, and tight end coach Todd Hartley at Georgia was a no-brainer for tight ends. I don't think anybody's going to disagree with either of those. I went back and forth on a couple guys at the offensive line spot, ultimately decided on Alex Mirabal because of what a great job he's done recruiting and developing this offensive line. On defense, it was once again very hard to pick the very best coordinator. I ultimately went with Bryant Haynes, just watched him hold Ohio State to 10 points. That being said, I wanted to include Glenn Schumann. He's my linebackers coach. Maybe that is cheating, I don't know, but Glenn Schumann and Bryant Haynes both listed as also linebacker coaches along with coordinators. One of them is coordinating me, and one is the linebackers coach. I don't really care which. I really could not decide on the defensive line spot. Both of these guys are honestly legends coaching defensive line, and Trey Scott for Georgia and Todd Bates at Oklahoma. Some of the defensive lines that Scott has put together over the years are just extraordinary. You can argue that 1-21 is maybe the greatest defensive line of all time. Meanwhile, Bates did incredible things over at Clemson and continues to be great at Oklahoma. The defensive backs were a sweep for Ohio State. I took their safeties coach, Matt Guerrieri. I also took their cornerbacks coach, Tim Walton. Both these guys are really good at what they do. They're really great recruiters, and there were a lot of Ohio State fans that just said, why don't we make these guys the DC instead of even going and getting someone new? I will admit, I'm not a massive special teams guy. I knew a couple teams that had really good special teams play, so what did I do? I put them in PFF, and I sorted them by special teams grade. Texas Tech was at the very top. So this is my superstar staff if I had the choice of any coaches in my entire college football playoff. If you were to ask me, I would actually probably make Ryan Day my offensive coordinator if that's allowed, but let me hear your thoughts in the comments and follow me for more college football content.